What if I told you that the things weighing you down, the stress, the grudges, the self-doubt, aren't just hurting you, they're destroying you? Every day, we carry invisible burdens. The pain of past mistakes, the fear of an uncertain future, the expectations placed upon us by others. We hold on because we think we have to. We tell ourselves that letting go means giving up, that moving on means losing control. But the truth is, the more you cling to what no longer serves you, the more you block yourself from the peace, happiness, and success you deserve. This book is not just about letting go. It's about taking back your life. It's about recognizing the habits, thoughts, and relationships that are draining your energy and learning how to release them with purpose. You will uncover the unseen chains that keep you stuck in cycles of frustration, resentment, and doubt. You will learn how to break free from the guilt that keeps you tied to people who don't value you, from the fear that stops you from taking chances, from the past that plays on repeat in your mind, like a song you never wanted to hear again. But letting go is not just an action. It's a mindset. It's not a one-time decision, but a practice, a skill that you must strengthen every day. Through the lessons in this book, you will understand why some things are so hard to release and how holding on is costing you more than you realize. You'll discover powerful strategies to free yourself from the thoughts, emotions, and situations that are holding you back. And most importantly, you'll learn how to step into a life that is lighter, freer, and filled with the peace you've been searching for. The power of letting go is not in what you lose, but in what you gain. And once you understand that, you will never look at your struggles the same way again. It's time to release what is destroying you and step into a new way of living. Subscribe to never miss books like this one. Chapter 1. The Burden of Holding On. Why you feel stuck. Have you ever felt like you're carrying an invisible weight? Something pressing on your chest, slowing your steps, and draining your energy. You wake up tired, your mind clouded with worries, regrets, and thoughts of what could have been. You push forward, but something inside you feels heavy, like you're walking through life with a chain around your ankles. That weight isn't just stress. It's everything you haven't let go of. We all hold on to things we shouldn't. Old grudges, past failures, painful memories, or even outdated beliefs about who we are. We cling to them because they feel familiar, because letting go seems like giving up, or because we fear what might happen if we loosen our grip. But the truth is, the longer we carry these burdens, they shape how we see the world, how we react, and ultimately how we live. Think of it like carrying a heavy backpack. At first, the weight seems manageable, but as the days, months, and years pass, it starts to wear you down. Your back aches, your steps slow, and before long you're exhausted from the sheer effort of moving forward. That's what happens when we refuse to let go. We get stuck emotionally, mentally, and even physically. But here's the truth most people never tell you. Holding on doesn't make you stronger. Letting go does. When you finally drop the things that are dragging you down, you'll feel something you may not have felt in a long time. Lightness, clarity, freedom. But before you can experience that, you have to first recognize what you're holding on to and why it's keeping you stuck. In this chapter, we'll uncover the hidden weight you've been carrying and reveal why releasing it is the first step toward reclaiming your life. It's time to break free. Let's begin. Chapter 2. Letting go of the past, breaking free from yesterday, the past, is a powerful force. It shapes who we are, molds our beliefs, and influences our decisions. But for many of us, it doesn't just shape us, it traps us. We replay old mistakes like a broken record, reliving moments of regret, pain, and failure. We cling to memories that no longer serve us, carrying them like scars we refuse to let heal. But here's the hard truth. As long as you're holding on to the past, you're robbing yourself of the future. Why do we struggle to let go? Sometimes it's because we believe that if we keep thinking about something, we can somehow change it. Other times it's because pain is familiar, and moving on feels like losing a part of ourselves. But holding on to the past won't bring back what was lost. It won't fix what went wrong. All it does is keep you anchored in a place you no longer belong. Imagine you're holding a rope tied to a burning ship. The fire is spreading, the smoke is suffocating, and the heat is unbearable. But still, you refuse to let go. Why? Because that ship once carried something important to you. Love, dreams, a version of yourself you miss. Letting go of the past isn't about forgetting. It's about choosing to stop reliving the pain. It's about accepting that what happened cannot be changed, but your future is still unwritten. It's about giving yourself permission to move forward, even if the past didn't give you closure. In this chapter, we'll explore the steps to finally release the grip of yesterday. You'll learn how to stop the cycle of overthinking, how to free yourself from painful memories, and how to create space for something better. Because the moment you stop looking back, you'll realize how much life is waiting ahead. It's time to cut the rope. Let's move forward. Chapter 3. The toxicity of regret. How it eats away at you. Regret is a slow poison. It doesn't hit all at once, but rather it seeps into your thoughts, your emotions, and your sense of self, weakening you little by little. One day, you wake up and realize you're not living. You're just existing, trapped in an endless loop of what if, and if only. We all have regrets. Words we didn't say, opportunities we didn't take, choices we wish we could erase. But regret isn't just about the past. It's about how much of your present you're willing to sacrifice for something you can't change. The more you dwell on what's already done, the more power it holds over you. It keeps you frozen, stuck in a reality that no longer exists. But here's what no one tells you. Regret is a liar. It convinces you that your past mistakes define you, that you'll never recover, that you're forever chained to the choices you once made. It makes you believe that if you had done one thing differently, everything would be better now. But would it? Or would you have simply found another reason to regret, another past decision to obsess over? The truth is, regret is only as powerful as you allow it to be. It can either destroy you or teach you. You can let it keep you stuck in the past, or you can use it as fuel to create a better future. The difference lies in what you do next. In this chapter, we'll break down how to stop regret from eating away at you. You'll learn how to reframe your past choices, how to forgive yourself, and how to transform regret into wisdom instead of pain. Because the only way to win against regret is to stop letting it control you. It's time to release the past and reclaim your future. Let's begin. Chapter 4. Releasing the fear of the unknown is one of the greatest barriers to growth. It keeps you trapped in situations that no longer serve you, bound by routine, predictability, and the illusion of safety. You may dream of change, of something bigger, something better. But the moment uncertainty appears, doubt takes over. What if I fail? What if things get worse? What if I'm not ready? This fear convinces you that staying where you are, even if you're unhappy, is safer than stepping into the unknown. It whispers that certainty, even when it's painful, is better than risk. But here's the truth. Nothing is guaranteed. Not success, not failure, not even Satan. In life is change, and the more you resist it, think of a bird that refuses to leave the nest. It was safe there once, but now, the same place that once nurtured it has become a cage. The only way to fly is to step out, despite the uncertainty, despite the fear. And so it is with you. The life you want is outside your comfort zone, waiting beyond the fear that keeps you small. But how do you let go of the need for certainty? How do you take a leap when you can't see where you'll land? The answer is in trust, not in the outcome, but in yourself. You have survived everything life has thrown at you so far. You have adapted, learned, and pushed through. And you will do it again. In this chapter, we'll uncover why fear of the unknown has such a powerful grip on you. You learn how to shift your mindset, how to embrace uncertainty, and how to take action even when you're afraid. Because the truth is, the unknown isn't your enemy. It's your greatest opportunity. It's time to stop letting fear make your choices. Let's step forward. Chapter 5. When expectations become chains from the moment we are born, expectations shape our lives. Society tells us who we should be, what success looks like, and how we are supposed to live. Family, friends, and even our own inner voices create invisible rules that dictate our decisions. Get the right job, find the right partner, be responsible, don't disappoint anyone. What happens when these expectations stop guiding you and start imprisoning you? Many people live their entire lives trying to meet expectations that were never truly their own. They chase goals that don't fulfill them, stay in relationships out of obligation, and ignore their own desires for the sake of pleasing others. And over time, they lose themselves, not because they were incapable of something more, but because they never allowed themselves to question whether the life they were building was truly theirs. Expectations become chains when they force you to live for someone else's approval. They keep you stuck in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of disappointing those around you. But here's what most people don't realize. No matter how perfectly you try to meet these expectations, there will always be someone who thinks you should be doing more, doing better, or doing something differently. Living for others is a game you will never win. So how do you break free? You start by asking yourself one simple question. Whose life am I really living? If the answer isn't your own, then it's time to let go of the expectations that don't align with who you truly are. In this chapter, we'll explore how to recognize the expectations that have been controlling you, how to release the fear of disappointing others, and how to redefine success on your own terms. Because the moment you let go of the need to please everyone else, you will finally discover what it means to be free. Chapter 6. The poison of resentment. Why it's holding you hostage. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. You replay the moments in your mind, what they did, what they said, how they hurt you. You tell yourself you'll never forgive, that they don't deserve your peace. But in the process, you're the one who remains shackled to the pain. Resentment doesn't punish the person who wronged you. It punishes you. It lives in your mind, drains your energy, and keeps you stuck in the past. It convinces you that holding on gives you power, when in reality, it strips you of it. The longer you carry resentment, the more control it has over you, over your emotions, your actions, even your ability to trust and love. But letting go of resentment doesn't mean excusing what happened. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means deciding that the person who hurt you no longer deserves space in your mind and heart. It means freeing yourself from their grip, not for their sake, but for your own. So how do you let go of something that feels so justified? How do you release anger when the wounds still feel fresh? In this chapter, we'll break down the cycle of resentment and show you how to reclaim your peace. You'll learn how to separate yourself from the pain, how to shift your perspective, and how to move forward without carrying the weight of past betrayals. Because the truth is, resentment is a cage, and you are the only one who can set yourself free. It's time to release the poison. Let's move on. Chapter 7. Letting go of anger before it consumes you. Anger is powerful. It ignites a fire inside you, demanding justice, recognition, or revenge. In the moment, it feels like strength, like a shield protecting you from pain. But over time, that fire burns inward, turning your thoughts bitter and your emotions toxic. Anger is not always the enemy. It can be a signal that something is wrong, a call to action when you've been wronged or mistreated. But when it becomes your default reaction, when it lingers far beyond the moment that caused it, it transforms into something far more dangerous: rage, resentment, and even self-destruction. You become trapped in a cycle of frustration, unable to find peace, constantly reliving the moments that triggered your fury. Think of anger like a flame in your hands. At first, it gives you warmth, energy, a sense of power. But the longer you hold on to it, the more it burns you. And if you refuse to let it go, it will consume everything in its path. Your happiness, your relationships, your future. So how do you release anger when it feels justified? How do you move forward when the wounds still sting? In this chapter, we'll uncover the hidden costs of holding on to anger and the steps you can take to free yourself from its grip. You'll learn how to process anger in a healthy way, how to shift your focus from pain to healing, and how to reclaim the peace that anger has stolen from you. Because the truth is, anger may have been your armor, but peace is your true strength. It's time to put out the fire. Let's begin. Chapter 8. The illusion of control. Freeing yourself from what you can't change. We live in a world that constantly demands control. We are told that if we work hard enough, plan carefully enough, and make the right choices, we can control the outcomes of our lives. But the truth is, no matter how much we try to orchestrate every detail, life has a way of throwing curveballs, unexpected events, things beyond our reach, moments we can't predict or prepare for. And when we hold on to the illusion of control, we set ourselves up for disappointment, frustration, and stress. The need to control everything often stems from fear. The fear that if we don't manage every situation, something bad will happen or will fail. But in trying to hold on to control, we end up controlling ourselves out of peace, out of joy, and out of the flow of life. We become overwhelmed, constantly anxious, and afraid of what might happen if things don't go according to plan. Here's the hard truth. There will always be things beyond your control. The actions of others, the timing of life, the unexpected twists that come your way. These are all part of the unpredictable nature of living. The key to peace isn't in controlling every situation, but in letting go of the need to control everything. It's about accepting that life is full of uncertainties, and that's okay. So how do you release the illusion of control? How do you stop micromanaging your life and start trusting the process? In this chapter, we'll explore how to recognize the areas where you're gripping too tightly and how to let go. You'll learn how to embrace uncertainty, how to shift from fear to trust, and how to find peace in the spaces you cannot control. Because the truth is, you don't need to control everything to create the life you want. Sometimes, surrendering is the greatest act of power. It's time to release the need for control. Let's move forward. Chapter 9. Breaking the cycle of self-doubt and guilt. Self-doubt is a silent killer of dreams. It creeps in when you're about to take a step forward, questioning your abilities, your worth, and your place in the world. It's the voice that says, you're not good enough. You'll fail. You don't deserve this. Guilt isn't far behind, reminding you of past mistakes and telling you that you're not worthy of success or happiness. Both self-doubt and guilt are insidious. They feed off each other, keeping you stuck in a cycle of hesitation and regret. You make one mistake, and self-doubt tells you it's the beginning of your failure. You try something new, but guilt whispers that you don't deserve to succeed, that others are counting on you to be perfect. The cycle continues, each negative thought reinforcing the next, until you're paralyzed by your own inner critic. But here's the truth. Self-doubt and guilt are not facts. They are the distorted thoughts of a mind that is too afraid to try, too afraid to believe in itself. Every person who has ever achieved something great has faced moments of doubt. Every successful person has made mistakes. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of doubt or guilt, but the ability to rise above them. So how do you break this cycle? How do you stop letting these emotions define your actions? In this chapter, we'll uncover the root causes of self-doubt and guilt and how to break free from them. You'll learn how to shift your mindset, how to embrace imperfection, and how to stop holding yourself back from the life you deserve. Because the truth is, you are worthy. And no matter what your inner voice says, you are more than enough. It's time to silence the doubts. Let's begin. Chapter 10. Overcoming. The fear of failure and rejection. Failure and rejection are two of the most powerful fears we face in life. They haunt us, keeping us from taking risks, from pursuing what we truly want, and from stepping into our fullest potential. We fear failure because it feels like proof that we aren't good enough, that we're not capable of achieving our dreams. Rejection feels like a personal attack, a confirmation that we don't belong or that we'll never be accepted. But here's the reality. Both failure and rejection are inevitable, and they don't define you. Everyone fails. Every successful person has faced rejection. In fact, the most successful people are those who failed the most. Why? Because failure isn't a sign of inadequacy. It's a lesson. Failure shows us what doesn't work. It teaches us resilience, and it opens the door to growth. Rejection isn't a reflection of your worth. It's simply feedback, telling you that a certain path or opportunity wasn't the right one for you. But when we allow these experiences to control us, when we let them dictate whether we try again, we miss out on everything that's waiting on the other side of fear. The key is not to avoid failure or rejection, but to shift how we view them. They are not the end. They are the beginning of something better. They don't define you unless you allow them to. The moment you let go of the fear of failure and rejection, you free yourself to take bold, courageous action toward your goals. So how do you let go of the fear of failure and rejection? In this chapter, we'll break down the ways fear holds you back and show you how to embrace failure as part of the journey. You'll learn how to reframe rejection, how to develop resilience, and how to move forward with confidence, knowing that failure is just one step toward success. Because the truth is, the only true failure is never trying at all. It's time to move past the fear. Let's take action. Chapter 11. Letting go of the need for validation in a world that constantly demands approval. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation, whether it's from friends, family, social media, or even strangers. We often look to others for confirmation that we're doing the right thing, that we're good enough, that we belong. But when we make validation the cornerstone of our self-worth, we lose the most important thing, our own sense of value. The need for validation is rooted in the fear of being judged, misunderstood, or rejected. It's the feeling that if others don't approve of us, then we are not worthy. But here's the truth. External validation is fleeting. No matter how many likes, compliments, or accolades you receive, it will never be enough if you don't first validate yourself. You can't build a life based on someone else's opinions. You are the only one who truly knows your worth, your abilities, and your purpose. Letting go of the need for validation doesn't mean cutting off relationships or becoming indifferent to feedback. It means no longer depending on others to determine your worth. It means choosing to value yourself for who you are, not for what others think of you. When you stop seeking constant approval, you'll finally create space for genuine self-love and acceptance. So how do you break free from the need for validation? In this chapter, we'll explore how to build inner confidence and self-worth. You'll learn how to listen to your own voice, how to trust your intuition, and how to stop relying on others to tell you who you are. Because when you validate yourself, you free yourself from the constant cycle of seeking approval. It's time to stop seeking external validation. Let's reclaim your worth. Chapter 12. The power of forgiveness. Letting go of the grudge forgiveness is one of the hardest things to do. When someone hurts us, when we feel betrayed or wronged, it's natural to want to hold on to that pain. We believe that if we forgive, we're letting the other person off the hook, that we're excusing their behavior, or that we'll somehow lose control over the situation. But the truth is, holding on to a grudge only gives the person who hurt you more power over your life. It keeps you chained to the past while they've already moved on. Forgiveness doesn't mean you condone what was done to you. It doesn't mean you forget the harm. And it doesn't mean you need to let that person back into your life. Forgiveness is a choice to release the negative emotions that bind you to the pain. It's a decision to stop allowing someone else's actions to control your peace and happiness. When you forgive, you free yourself. not the other person. You free your heart from the weight of bitterness, anger, and resentment. You stop carrying the emotional baggage that drags you down, and you create space for healing, growth, and peace. Letting go of a grudge isn't about being weak. It's about being strong enough to reclaim your emotional freedom. So how do you forgive when the hurt feels unbearable? In this chapter, we'll uncover the true meaning of forgiveness and how it can liberate you. You'll learn how to shift your mindset, how to release the hold of past wounds, and how to forgive yourself as well as others. Because the truth is, forgiveness is not just for the other person. It's for you. It's time to let go of the grudge. Let's begin the healing. Chapter 13, The Burden of Perfectionism. Embracing imperfection. Perfectionism is an exhausting pursuit. It tells you that if something isn't flawless, it's worthless. That every detail must be meticulously polished, every mistake corrected, and every outcome perfect. But perfectionism is a lie. It's an invisible weight that keeps you from moving forward, from creating, from living. It's the enemy of progress because it makes you so focused on the end result that you can't enjoy the process. The fear of imperfection creates a constant sense of inadequacy. You look at your work, your relationships, and even yourself, and think, it's not enough. I'm not enough. The mistakes, the moments of vulnerability that shape your character, fuel your growth, and connect you with others. The need to be perfect not only stifles creativity, but it also makes you forget that growth comes through trial, error, and evolution. Letting go of perfectionism doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means recognizing that it's okay to make mistakes, to try things and fail, and to embrace the messy, imperfect journey of life. Perfection isn't attainable, but progress is. And in that progress, you'll find true fulfillment. So how do you break free from the cycle of perfectionism? In this chapter, we'll explore how to embrace imperfection, how to release the fear of judgment, and how to find peace in the process rather than the product. You'll learn how to let go of the need to be perfect and start embracing the beauty of being human. Because the truth is, imperfection is where the magic happens. It's time to stop chasing perfection. Let's embrace what is real. Chapter 14. The Weight of Unresolved Grief. Letting go to heal grief is one of the heaviest emotions we experience in life. It comes in many forms: loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or even the death of an old version of ourselves. Grief can be overwhelming, paralyzing, and often we try to avoid it, to bury it deep within us. But grief doesn't just go away. It lingers, sometimes for years, waiting for us to face it. Unresolved grief is a burden that weighs on your heart and mind, draining your energy and clouding your ability to move forward. You may tell yourself that you've moved on, that you've healed. But when you haven't truly let go, the pain resurfaces in unexpected ways, manifesting as sadness, anger, or even physical ailment. Grief, like any other emotion, needs to be processed, not hidden. If you avoid it, it will continue to haunt you, blocking your ability to experience joy, to love again, and to fully embrace life. Letting go of unresolved grief doesn't mean forgetting or erasing the pain. It means honoring the loss, accepting that healing is a journey, and allowing yourself the space to grieve fully and completely. Healing is not linear. It's messy, it's complicated, and it takes time. But with every tear, with every moment of pain, you are one step closer to reclaiming your peace. So how do you begin to let go of grief that feels too heavy to bear? In this chapter, we'll explore how to acknowledge and process your grief, how to release the emotional weight it carries, and how to allow yourself to heal. You'll learn how to honor your loss without letting it define you, how to find comfort in the midst of sorrow, and how to move forward without forgetting what mattered most. Because the truth is, you don't need to carry the weight of grief forever. It's time to let go and heal. Let's begin this journey of restoration. Chapter 15. The fear of change, embracing transformation. Change is one of the most constant forces in life. For many, the idea of change brings feelings of uncertainty, discomfort, and even terror. Change challenges the very foundation of what we know and what we're comfortable with. It forces us to let go of old habits, beliefs, and ways of thinking and step into the unknown. For some, the fear of change is so overwhelming that it paralyzes them, keeping them stuck in unfulfilling situations, relationships, or environments simply because the thought of change is more terrifying than staying where they are. But here's the truth. Change is not the enemy. It's the gateway to growth, to new experiences, and to discovering parts of yourself you never knew exist, James. Every time you resist change, you resist your own evolution. Life isn't static. It's dynamic, ever-shifting. When you try to hold on to what was, you miss out on what could be. And while it may be uncomfortable to face the unknown, it is often in the discomfort of change that the most profound transformation happens. The fear of change usually stems from the unknown. You may feel like you can't control the outcome, or that you're not ready for what lies ahead. But here's the key. You never truly know what the future holds, whether you stay where you are or move forward. Fear thrives in the unknown. But the unknown is also where possibilities are born. Every transformation in history, from personal to global, began with the courage to embrace change. So how do you embrace change when fear is holding you back? In this chapter, we'll dive into the psychology behind the fear of change and how to shift your mindset. We'll explore how to recognize when you're avoiding change, how to stop clinging to outdated versions of, and how to step forward with courage, knowing that growth is always on the other side of fear. We'll also explore practical tools to help you navigate change in a healthy. How do you build resilience when everything feels uncertain? How do you stay grounded when the world around you is shifting? By the end of this chapter, you will understand that change is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed as a sign of growth and new beginnings. The truth is, the only way to experience true transformation is to let go of the fear that keeps you trapped in your current reality. Change is inevitable, but it's also the most powerful force in your life. It's time to embrace trust. Let's walk into the future with confidence. Chapter 16. The Chains of Comparison. Breaking free from the need to compete. Comparison is a silent thief quietly stealing your peace, your joy, and your sense of self. In a world driven by social media, success stories, and constant visibility, it's easier than ever to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. Whether it's your career, your relationships, your appearance, or your achievements, the need to measure yourself against those around you can feel overwhelming. You look at someone else's life and think, why aren't I there? Why am I not as successful, happy, or fulfilled? But here's the painful truth. Comparison never leads to growth. It only leads to dissatisfaction. When you compare yourself to others, you're not measuring your worth. You're measuring their success against your own self-doubt. Everyone has their own path, their own journey, and their own timeline. But when we get caught in the trap of comparison, we forget that our value is not determined by how we stack up to anyone else. The truth is, no one else's success diminishes yours. Your journey is unique, and the only person you need to compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. The impact of constant comparison is profound. It leaves you feeling inadequate, constantly chasing after something you'll never fully reach. You may find yourself feeling envious, frustrated, or even resentful toward those you compare yourself to, without realizing that their journey has nothing to do with yours. It can even create an unhealthy cycle of competition, where you start measuring your worth by external standards rather than your own internal growth. Letting go of comparison is not an easy task, especially in a world that constantly pressures you to be better, faster, and more successful. But it is possible, and it starts with a simple but powerful realization. Your worth is not defined by others. When you break free from the need to compete and compare, you free yourself to pursue your own goals and dreams without the weight of comparison holding you back. So how do you stop comparing yourself to others and start honoring your own journey? In this chapter, we'll explore the psychological effects of comparison and how to break free from it. We'll look at the importance of self-reflection, the power of gratitude, and how to embrace your unique path. We'll also uncover practical steps to help you stop measuring yourself against others and start celebrating your own progress, no matter how small it may seem. Because the truth is, your worth isn't measured by comparison. It's measured by your own growth, your own progress, and your own ability to embrace who you are. It's time to let go of the need to compete. Let's celebrate the unique journey you're on. Chapter 17. The fear of letting go, surrendering to what's not meant for you. There's a deep-rooted fear in many of us. The fear of letting go. We fear that if we release what we've held on to, we will lose something valuable, or that we will be left with nothing. Whether it's a relationship, a job, an old belief, or a situation that no longer serves us, the idea of letting go feels like a leap into the unknown, a risk we're not ready to take. But in reality, holding on to what's not meant for us is what keeps us stuck, unable to move forward and grow. We tell ourselves that if we just hold on long enough, things will change. We convince ourselves that if we fight hard enough, if we push against the tide, we will eventually get what we want. But sometimes the hardest and most powerful thing we can do is to surrender. To let go of the struggle, to release what isn't meant for us, and trust that something better is on the other side. The fear of letting go is often tied to the fear of loss. We're afraid of what will happen when we stop trying to control the outcome, when we stop holding on to the things that no longer align with who we are. But here's the truth. When we let go, we make space for new opportunities, for growth, for healing, Letting go isn't about losing, it's about gaining. It's about giving ourselves the chance to evolve, to move forward, and to embrace the new chapters that life has waiting for us. Letting go isn't easy. It requires trust. It requires trust. It requires faith in ourselves and in the process of life. It's an act of surrender, not weakness. Surrender is not about giving up. It's about giving in to the flow of life, allowing it to guide you to where you truly belong. And once you let go of what's holding you back, you'll find that the things that are meant for you will find their way into your life effortlessly. So how do you let go when everything inside you is screaming to hold on? In this chapter, we'll explore how to recognize the areas of your life where you're holding on to things that no longer serve you. We'll dive into the psychology of attachment and how to detach without feeling like you're giving up. You'll learn how to surrender with grace, how to trust that the universe has a plan for you, and how to open yourself up to the abundance and opportunities that are waiting for you. Because the truth is, when you let go of what's not meant for you, you open yourself up to what's truly yours. It's time to surrender. Let's release what no longer serves us and embrace the freedom of letting go. Chapter 18. The illusion of control. Surrendering to life's flow, one of the most powerful illusions we hold on to, is the belief that we can control everything. In many areas of our lives, we try to orchestrate outcomes, predict what's going to happen next, and make everything fit into neat, manageable boxes. We hold tightly to plans, schedules, and ideas about how things should be, convinced that if we just control enough, we can create the future we want. But the truth is, control is an illusion. Life is unpredictable, ever-changing, and beyond our complete grasp. This obsession with control comes from a deep fear, the fear that if we don't manage every detail, we will lose something precious, or worse, that things will spiral out of control. But in reality, this constant need to control every situation only creates stress, anxiety, and a deep sense of frustration. The tighter we grip, the more we choke the natural flow of life. The more we try to plan every moment, the less we allow for spontaneity, creativity, and the unexpected wonders that come from simply letting life unfold. Surrendering to life's flow doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean relinquishing responsibility or taking a passive approach to life. It means acknowledging that there are forces beyond our control and choosing to trust in them. It's about realizing that some things are meant to happen, no matter how much we try to control them. When we stop trying to force things into our will, we make room for the universe, for fate, for serendipity, to step in and guide us in ways we never could have imagined. The fear of losing control often stems from the belief that we must be in charge of everything for our lives to be right. But the truth is, we are never truly in control. At best, we are in control of how we respond to what life throws at us. And that is where the power lies. The true strength comes from knowing when to act and when to surrender, when to take the reins, and when to step back and trust. So how do you stop trying to control every aspect of your life? In this chapter, we'll explore how to recognize the areas where control is limiting you and preventing you from experiencing life fully. We'll dive into the importance of trust, how to practice letting go of the need for certainty and how to embrace life as it is, rather than trying to shape it into something else. You'll learn how to dance with life's flow instead of fighting against it, finding peace in the unpredictability and beauty of the journey. Because the truth is, surrendering control is not about weakness. It's about trusting the process of life. It's about allowing things to unfold as they should, without the pressure of forcing them into a predetermined mold. It's time to let go of control. Let's step into the flow of life and trust where it will take us. Chapter 19. The struggle for approval. Releasing the need for external praise. From an early age, many of us are conditioned to seek approval, whether it's from our parents, teachers, friends, or colleagues. We are taught that our worth is tied to how others perceive us. The approval of others becomes a metric by which we measure our value. And we become trapped in a cycle of constantly seeking external validation. But in doing so, we lose touch with the most important approval of all, the approval of ourselves. The need for external praise is rooted in a desire to be accepted, to feel worthy, and to fit in. It's natural to want affirmation for our efforts and accomplishments. But when we base our self-worth on the approval of others, we allow their opinions to dictate how we feel about ourselves. If we don't receive praise or recognition, we feel insignificant. If we do receive approval, it's often fleeting, and we find ourselves back in the cycle of seeking more. This external validation creates an emotional roller coaster, one that leaves us feeling dependent on others for our sense of worth. Letting go of the need for approval doesn't mean rejecting praise or becoming indifferent to feedback. It means realizing that your value is not determined by others. Your worth is inherent, and it's not tied to how many people agree with you, like you, or praise you. The more you depend on others for your self-worth, the less control you have over your own happiness. The truth is, the only approval you need is your own. Releasing the need for external approval allows you to step into your authentic self. You no longer need to mold yourself into someone you think others will like, and you no longer need to perform for validation. You become free to pursue what truly matters to you, to live in alignment with your values, and to make choices based on your own needs, not on what will garner approval from others. But how do you stop seeking approval from others, especially when it's been a lifelong habit? In this chapter, we'll explore how to shift your focus from external validation to internal confidence. We'll discuss the importance of self-acceptance and how to stop looking for worth in the eyes of others. You'll learn how to embrace your uniqueness and start living for yourself, free from the need for constant praise or approval. Because the truth is, you don't need anyone's approval to be worthy. Your value is already inherent. It's time to stop seeking approval. Let's begin the journey to self-acceptance and inner freedom. Chapter 20. The fear of the unknown. Stepping into the uncertainty of life. The unknown is perhaps one of the most daunting aspects of life. Whether it's stepping into a new job, moving to a new place, or making a major life change, the uncertainty of what lies ahead often fills us with fear. We are creatures of habit, seeking comfort in what we know. The thought of venturing into unknown territory triggers a primal instinct to resist, to stay where we feel safe and secure. But this fear of the unknown is often what holds us back from the greatest opportunities, the richest experiences, and the most transformative moments of our lives. The unknown is not a void. It is a space of endless possibility. Every great adventure, every personal growth moment, and every success story begins with the courage to step into uncertainty. But we must first let go of the fear that keeps us tethered to our comfort zones. When we resist change or the unknown, we are rejecting the future that could unfold, one that is filled with potential, even though it may seem uncertain at first. This fear is rooted in the need for control and predictability. We fear what we can't see, what we can't predict. The unknown feels dangerous, and our minds often conjure up worst-case scenarios. But here's the truth. The unknown is not inherently dangerous. It's simply unfamiliar. And with that unfamiliarity comes the chance for discovery, growth, and the kind of change that leads to deeper fulfillment. When we let go of the need for certainty and control, we allow ourselves the freedom to explore, to experiment, and to take risks. It is in the unknown that we truly find our courage. It is in stepping out of our comfort zones that we discover new strengths, talents, and passions we never knew we had. The unknown is not a threat. It is an invitation to become more of who we are meant to be. So how do you begin to step into the unknown without letting fear stop you? In this chapter, we'll explore how to reframe your mindset about uncertainty, how to embrace the unknown as an opportunity for growth, and how to take small but powerful steps toward the future you've been avoiding. You'll learn how to confront your fear and use it as fuel to move forward. Because the truth is, the unknown is where the magic happens. It's where your greatest transformations take place, where the path you were meant to walk unfolds. It's time to step into the unknown,